Now, there's something I want to explain really quickly. This video is inspired by a viral tweet I saw about a week ago, and if you're on Twitter a lot, then you might have seen it yourself. As you probably know by this point, 6IX9INE of course dropped this new song called Trollz featuring Nicki Minaj on June 12th. That same day, Lil Baby dropped an extremely important rap song titled The Bigger Picture. On that song, Lil Baby was talking about everything that's going on in the world right now. Really heartfelt message, definitely something way different from his other music, lyrically speaking. Now, if you've heard Trollz by 6IX9INE, it's the complete opposite of Lil Baby's song. There's obviously no message on the track, it's a party record and that's all it is. I came across this tweet right here though. This is a screenshot of the views on Lil Baby's record and 6IX9INE's more than a day later after they both got released, and the person tweeting said, "I just don't understand this." This tweet has over 70,000 retweets, which means a lot of people feel and think this way, right? Obviously the tweet is referring to the fact that such a real song with such an important message like Lil Baby's only got 2 million views a day after getting released, while Tekashi was doing 60+ million. By the way, as of right now, The Bigger Picture has 20+ million views, so it's definitely getting the credit that it so much deserves. And for the record, Trollz has over 150 million views and it's still trending. Maybe it's not getting the kind of numbers Trollz is getting, which is understandable. One is a conscious rap song and the other one is a party record. We all know what track is gonna relate to the masses. That's a no-brainer. You know, I see something like this and to me this is very far from confusing. Matter of fact, it makes complete sense. Now let's get a couple things out of the way. Like 6IX9INE obviously thrives off of controversy. He got out of prison, started doing all these crazy numbers off the rip. Everyone has been following his story ever since he blew up. He's more of a comedian slash entertainer than an actual rapper. His antics outside of the music is what makes him relevant, not the actual music in itself. I mean, there's just so many things that makes him so viral. Meanwhile, Lil Baby is just a rapper. That's what he does best. He makes music, doesn't involve himself in any kind of situations outside of the music that push his name to the top. That's what we get as far as the Lil Baby packaging. We get this rapper who's all about the music and that's it. Nowadays though, things in hip-hop have obviously changed. More than any time in hip-hop history, rappers get rewarded for doing everything but making music. This is why rappers like 6IX9INE is a thing. That's why every single time you go on any hip-hop outlet right now, all they're doing is 24/7 reporting on his every single move. Do you remember when he got released and everyone, and I mean everyone, was at the edge of their seat just waiting for him to speak up? Because 6IX9INE had been locked up, told on his entire crew, was still somehow blowing up behind bars, and then he was at a place where all he had to do was go on Instagram, post a comment here and there, and every single hip-hop media outlet reported on it like their life depended on it. Think about it, a simple Instagram comment from him got the whole world yapping non-stop for a week straight. By the way, I've made a lot of videos on him too because people want to hear about it, and that's the point I'm trying to make. On top of that, look at 6IX9INE's image. This is a rainbow colored hair rapper who's literally at the top of the game. This wouldn't be possible in the 90s when Pac and Biggie were running things. Absolutely not. Back then, there wasn't really a big emphasis on the flashiness aspect of things as a rapper. Guys like Pac and Biggie were so far from flashy. Sure, they rocked jewelry, bragged about it on their records, but I'm saying there wasn't as much of an emphasis on being flashy as it is right now. And think about this, unlike in the 90s, now rappers have the ability to document and show off their materials through social media. So there's an incentive for them to be materialistic now. Tupac didn't have an Instagram account with millions of followers, so for him to flex wasn't even an option. These guys were so serious about their craft that they were willing to die for it. Hip-hop back then wasn't a game, it was literally a way of life. Hip-hop back then wasn't a means for you to get the bag. It was a way for you to genuinely express yourself. Now, a lot of that nowadays is honestly gone. It ain't the way most rappers are operating nowadays. Lil Baby dropped The Bigger Picture to speak his mind on the things that actually matter, not to get another radio hit. 6IX9INE, on the other hand, has another purpose. He's trying to get as big as he possibly can, and that's why he has to not only dumb it down, musically speaking, but he's also purposely, you know, creating this very captivating scenery in his music video as far as the colors go. He also had one of the biggest, if not the biggest, female rapper in the game on his record, had her looking like a snack in the video. Oh yeah, Nicki was looking very edible in that video. Blacky's trying to get a taste. By the way, I'm not trying to undermine any of his accomplishments. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you if he saw this video, he'd be nodding his head to every single thing that I'm saying right now. I want you to realize that 6IX9INE is very far from clueless. Everything you see him doing on social media is very calculated. That's why he's essentially outsmarting the entire industry. The kind of success he's getting isn't accidental, it's actually very intentional. Tekashi has pretty much served as his own scientific experiment on social media. He tries one thing and another thing and another thing. Whatever stunt gets him the most amount of hate is what he does more of, because he knows how much people hate him, so he very wisely plays on the emotions of his haters. What's that quote? You know you're doing well when you got haters? I think this is the epitome of that. Obviously, there's consequences to taking it to this kind of extreme, like in Tekashi's case, but hey, he's been operating this way since day one. That's why he's so big in the first place. Why stop now, right? But continuing what I was talking about before, rapping has now almost became like a means to an end. You want to get rich? Are you trying to get the bag? Then consider picking up that microphone. But let's put all the focus on the listeners instead, because people nowadays don't listen to hip-hop the same way they once used to. And this is the explanation part of the video. Instead of looking at the numbers that you have right in front of you, I want you to focus on the people, because without the people, no rapper would have any fans. Everyone is just looking for entertainment nowadays. Trollz by 6IX9INE is way more entertaining to the masses than The Bigger Picture by Lil Baby. Despite the fact that Lil Baby is a trap rapper, was actually rapping on a really hard instrumental, had a fairly digestible and easy to follow flow on the record, none of that matters, because can you mindlessly listen to the song without paying attention to what he's actually saying? That's close to impossible. Can you do it with 6IX9INE's record though? Absolutely you can. In the past, I've said that the best songs often get slept on, which is the prime example of everything that I'm talking about in this video. And there's a reason why The Box by Roddy Ricch blew up and War Baby, which is easily the best song on that album, didn't. And that's why when we're sitting here having a conversation about Lil Baby's numbers versus 6IX9INE's, it ain't no coincidence that Trollz is beating The Bigger Picture. Most people aren't trying to hear a message, but that doesn't take anything away from everyone who does. If you're watching this video though, you're not a part of the most people crowd because you're interested enough in hip-hop to the point where you watch this kind of content, so you're far from the average listener. Don't forget that. Rap nowadays has such a reach. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, genre out there right now. I think considering how big this genre actually is, that automatically attracts the kind of listeners who would rather listen to Trollz rather than The Bigger Picture, because that's the masses. At the end of the day, music is subjective, so who am I to judge anyone for what they listen to? And at the end of the day, we all hear different things, we all vibe to different sounds, and when it comes to that, case closed. But I think we all can agree on the fact that, objectively speaking, Lil Baby's record is more important than 6IX9INE's, right? On the other hand, do you as a rapper wanna keep on making those important records that won't necessarily be as big as your other ignorant ones? I think this is something that actually stops rappers from speaking on real things, because they see the difference in numbers and, most importantly, money whenever they do decide to take the high road and speak on those important subjects. Now, there's this principle slash term called the 80-20 rule. They use a lot in the business and marketing world. Now, the 80-20 rule says this. The 80-20 rule, known as the Pareto principle, is an aphorism which asserts that 80% of outcomes or outputs result from 20% of all causes or inputs for any given event. In business, a goal of the 80-20 rule is to identify inputs that are potentially the most productive and make them the priority. Now, what exactly does this mean, and how does it relate to what I'm talking about? As an example, let's take Roddy Ricch. Now, on Roddy's official YouTube page, with all his uploads combined, he has over 1,457,954,515 views. Now, here's the most interesting thing. Roddy's 6 most viewed uploads make up for more than 50% of his all-time views on his entire channel. Now, here's another thing. Out of those 892 million views on those 6 uploads alone, 2 of them are strictly The Box. One of them, as you can see, is the audio, and another one is the music video. Now, combine the amount of numbers The Box has brought in and compare the numbers down below. Every Season, Die Young, and High Fashion brought in. The Box alone is almost beating those 4 uploads together in terms of numbers. Now, think about it. These 6 uploads alone make up for more than 50% of all the views on his channel. That should tell you something. Let's connect this to the point I'm trying to make. A rapper getting more rewards from his ignorant records than the real ones is the 80-20 rule. 20% of their biggest songs are leading to 80% of the success they're getting. On Polo G's The GOAT album, the song with the most amount of streams is Go Stupid. This is, of course, the song with the most amount of turn up energy. But if you've heard the album though, I think you're gonna agree with me when I say this, but this is far from the best song on there. There's tracks like Wishing for a Hero or I Know, which is such a real record, but combine the amount of streams both of those songs have on Spotify and they don't even make up for half of the streams Go Stupid has. Now to be fair, Go Stupid has went kind of stupid on TikTok, but you get my point. Another example, let's take a look at 6ix9ine. We got Gummo that blew him up, that's the foundation. Fifi with Nicki Minaj was huge, and then we got songs like BB, Gotti, Billy, Stupid, etc. The meat and potatoes are the Fifis, the Gummos, and now the Trollz. 6ix9ine is putting in all the work on that 20% because that's what a smart businessman does. This is relevant to most rappers who are blown up nowadays. That's why I won't blame Lil Baby if this is the last time he raps like that. In this case, the bigger picture does help him in the respect regard, simply because no one expected him to speak up, and he did a fairly good job at addressing those important issues. And for the record, surprisingly enough, the bigger picture made it to the top 10 on Billboard, but don't get it twisted. That's not the 20% that's leading to 80% of his success. It's far from it. Let's transition this conversation to something else regarding this topic, and that's the Lil Baby versus J. Cole conversation I saw on Twitter the other day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of people noticed how much praise Lil Baby was getting for his song, and people kind of questioned things by saying something along the lines of, when Lil Baby raps like this, it's fire, but when J. Cole does it, it's considered boring. Now this sparks a whole nother conversation, you know, the whole J. Cole hate train, which is a very real thing that shouldn't really even be a thing. There's always going to be some kind of negativity towards any successful rapper, especially when you're at that J. Cole level, but I think this kind of thinking is very flawed. Number one, the only reason why Lil Baby was getting so much praise for his song is because, like I said earlier, nobody expected that from him. And yeah, it's a really great song, don't get me wrong, I've been bumping it myself heavy, but the unexpected part is mostly why he received all that love. A rapper like J. Cole though is already known for being conscious in his music, so obviously he's not gonna get any kind of additional praise for living up to a standard we already hold him to. I think most people who are watching this are gonna say that The Bigger Picture is a better song than Trollz. Like I said earlier though, just realize that you're not the masses, you are the minority. Now Trollz got that #1 spot the other day. You might have heard about it, or you might have seen this video of Tekashi going absolutely off on everyone who doubted him.
You can't blackball me! You can't! Listen, I'm telling you, I'm going on a 7-day rant. You better unfollow me because I'm going on a 7-day rant. Y'all try to blackball me on radio. Y'all try to blackball me on radio. Apple Music, Spotify didn't give us no playlisting. I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped.
The crazy thing is, even Tekashi himself said that he thinks that The Bigger Picture should have gone #1. Lil Baby deserved it, not gonna lie, but I waited on this forever. Let me tell you this one thing, the majority of people don't want real raps as much as they say that they want real raps. Ain't nothing wrong with this. This is the natural evolution of hip-hop. People listen to this genre so much differently than how they once used to. I think a situation like this is all the proof that you need. Yes, Tekashi 6ix9ine is a guy who thrives off of controversy. Of course, his song is gonna do better than a conscious rap song, but you saw that tweet. A lot of people were confused, I guess. I think it's kinda obvious though, but hey, what do you think about this entire topic? Do you think a conscious rap song like Lil Baby's doing significantly lower numbers in terms of views than Tekashi's is something that confuses you? Also, do you think people listen to rap differently nowadays? I think a situation like this gives us the opportunity to discuss this. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about this.